So hello and welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be talking about numeric operators. We'll discuss the different numeric operators available when we're creating an application and performing mathematics or mathematical equations in this. And generally that's what we're going to be using them for. There's a couple uses other than for math, but we won't really cover that right now. First, what we're going to do though is we're going to actually import our scanner class once again. We did this in previous videos. It's just going to make the program a little more, interactive and have a little bit more fun with actual programming and performing and making an application, right? It's kind of what you're going to do. So we'll start by import. We'll import the java.util.scanner. That gets our scanner all ready for us to be able to use it in our program. We'll come down here now and we'll just declare it as scanner. We give it a name. We'll call it input. We'll make it equal to the new scanner. Oh, and then we'll get the brackets, not the miss the shift key. And inside here we put system.in. That's always going to be your generic way of getting your scanner and importing it into your file or into your program so you can use it and have it available. And this will always be the way to initialize or create it and get it prepared to actually be used inside the program. Now we come down here and we'll just start it off by getting our inputs from the user real quickly here. It won't take too much time to, gather this up. We'll just say, input a non-decimal number. We'll just work with ints right now, or integers and non-decimal point numbers, just so that we can, quickly get through this or kind of work through it to get to the numeric operator part of this. And what I want to just point out quickly too is in previous we kind of went down here and we, declared the variable here, user input. We'll call it num1 this time. Say that. Just be the first number the user inputs. We're going to get two inputs off them, and we go here and we put input dot, and we do the next int and get that. And this is all fine to do. It's good when you got a little program like this. It's kind of good programming practice really not to declare them on the fly like this. And when you get thousands of lines of code, and this is getting into tens and thousands of lines of code, and you got a whole bunch of different variables stitched in all over the place. So it's kind of always good to come up here and just make a little area for all the variables to be declared at. And it's kind of good programming practice. It's a lot harder for readability to go finding variables all over the place. If you can kind of keep them centralized in one little area, it's going to be a lot easier for you to find them later when you need to, or when doing different debugging, or it's just a little nicer to keep things uniform and kind of clean. So we'll just come up here and we'll say int num1, and then we'll go int num_2, and we'll go int, we'll just call this one result. Give it some space, and all of our variables belong up here. Now down here we don't actually have to redeclare it. Now we can just actually use it. So this is only one time you got to declare it with the int. Anywhere else in your program you can just verify or refer to it. So if we click here, this is actually referring up to here, and we're going to post or store the next integer value that we gained from over here. So we grab this, we'll come down, we'll just make a next line, input another non-decimal number, and we'll take this and we'll make this num2. Very quick, easy to do, very quick. We got this all happening right now. So now we got these two inputs that were given to us from the user. Now it's time we can actually do some work with them. So come down here and we'll just comment this out. This is the addition operator, fairly straightforward, and we'll store this into the result variable that we created earlier. We'll make it equal to num1 plus num_2. That's fairly simplistic. You got your plus sign here, that means obviously addition, right? We'll just do something really quick. We'll print it out to the screen. And here we'll just write it as, we'll write it out with, you know, we get the number 1 that we got given to us, the input 1, and we'll put that there with a plus sign to know that we just added it in. We added that number together. Put the next one here, num_2, the next, you know, input that we were gathered from our user. We'll put that there, and we'll kind of just make it look like a little sentence here. Just want to show you also, put result. So now this should be, you know, the number that they give us, and it'll look like plus, and the second number that they give us is equal to. Kind of just makes the equation in a string. Now this is not the same as this. This is not kind of adding these values together per se. They are in a string format way, and what we call this is a concatenation. So it's like taking this and appending it to this string. We got a couple spaces here, and we've talked about this previously, and there's going to be more. I'll talk very in depth about the string data type, and how we can, the different things we can use it with. But for now, that's just knowing that this is a different type. So this would be the binary version of it. They got 2 different uses for them, right? So, you know, one is the unary and one's the binary. One single use or double usages. So go here and we'll go down to subtraction. The subtraction operator, fairly straightforward. Just the dash for subtraction. Everybody's used it before. And simple subtraction operator. We'll print that out after we get the result, just to, you know, show the subtraction of the 2. It's fairly easy going, but I'll show you here that this actually does not work in that regards. So it does have a second use for it as well, though. So we'll put that back to a plus. It doesn't remove anything from the string. There's only the plus to kind of add things into the string or into a sentence. This is technically a string, but we'll talk more about that later. So the other use for the negative, or the subtraction symbol or operator would be, say if we had a number up here, you know, and we can negate that number and put it as a negative value. So it does have 2 actual uses in it. So now we'll just come back here. We don't need that up there anymore. We'll come over to here. We'll just keep kind of moving along, because I think you kind of get the drift of what's going on. We got a multiplication operator as well. And that's pretty straightforward. If you've used computers, everybody probably at this point knows that the asterisk, or if you hold shift and push 8, that's the operator for multiplication. And if you don't know, then that's fine too, and now you do. So that's, we'll just, you know, change these as we go to kind of verify what we're working with here. The next one we'll go down to here is the division operator. Division operator, and that one's just the backslash. Now don't get that confused with that forward slash, because that's absolutely not going to work for you. It's here, illegal character, not a statement, you can't do it. So make sure it's the backslash when you're doing division, and that's pretty well the, you know, the main add, subtract, multiply, divide. If you want to get into like the power, like, you know, exponential or exponents, there's a different class or a different thing that we're going to have to implement in order to do that, but we'll talk about that later on. This is just a simple basic, the operators available when doing math at this point. So we'll come over here and we'll run this program and just kind of see what's going on. Okay, so we get input a non-decimal number. We'll go with 55, hit enter. Input another non-decimal number. We'll just go with 25, hit enter. And as you can see, you know, that's what we kind of printed out when we did this. We were doing our print line. You know, num1, we got 55 plus 25 is equal to 80. Result, that's perfect. You know, you do that, it's equal to 30. That's right. Come down here and it's equal to 2. Now there's something a little awkward with that, because it goes in there twice. You know, you got 25 goes into 55 2 times, but there's something missing here. So we got one more operator that we actually have available to us, and that one is the remainder. Oh, this one goes hand in hand with the division, the remainder operator, also known as the modulus or modulo operator. And that's a percent sign. That's going to give you, now the result's going to give you the remainder of this equation. So it's kind of these two will go hand in hand. If you are using the division and you need to know the remainder that's left over, you're going to probably need to use this. We'll just signify that with the percent, and we'll run this one more time, and we'll just do it again with the same values, just so that we kind of see what we were talking about earlier. And we got 55, and we'll go 25. And you see here now, it does go in, you know, because 25 times 2 is 50, but we still have that extra 5 to remain. So there's our remainder. So now that works to give us the extra values that were left over after dividing. It's kind of always important if you've done your own division, you know that for sure. A remainder is kind of an important value to know when performing certain mathematical equations and using them later. So that's pretty much the basics of the operators available. Now there's other ways that we can use them. We'll talk about that in our next video here, but as for keeping this one short and sweet and not kind of overloading anything in it, that's pretty much it when it comes to the numeric operators available to us. Again, like I said, there's other, you know, if you're trying to do the powers of something, there's a class that's available. Oh, not math, it's the math class, and you can actually go math.pow, and then that's going to actually take a value into it. Pretty sure it doesn't need to have that. Yeah. Math, class math cannot be applied to given types. It needs a double, required double. But yeah, it's a math power. We'll talk about that later. We don't need to worry about that now, but there is a couple of them when working with different equations that will help. You know, you can't actually do the math here. You would think like maybe, you know, 5, and that would kind of signify the power of something, but no, that's technically not the way this works. Not in Java anyways. In other programming languages you might see that, but not in Java. So that's it for this video. I'll stop talking about this. The numeric operators. I thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like to see more videos like this, or you know, have any kind of questions or comments about the video, just make sure to put it down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.